You're watching Gears and Gasoline series
Track tested
with me, Coby Shield.
Do you think I can afford a BMW M4 GT4? Heck no. So this is what we're working with, 90s track rats. So these are cars that normal guys like you and I could go out and buy and only want to track. So this weekend we're going to show you multiple different ways to build a 90s track rat with multiple different budgets from multiple continents. So was your original plan for this to be like a track rat build, or was this just a street car that got carried away, or a little bit of both?
Once I did my first autocross in this, it kind of spiraled out of control. So it's a 2000 Mazda Miata. We got 9 lives aero, air dam and wing. I have the vented hood, Morimoto headlights, a carbon Miata body kit with a fresh set of RT660s on some old TE37s.
So tell me about the body kit. Does that allow you to run a wider wheel on these cars?
With an ample amount of angle grinder, I have a lot more room for tires. As far as interior, I have a Bride Zeta 3 Sparco track wheel, as well as an IRP shifter.
So I noticed you have the taller shifter. I've seen that's a common thing. What do you like most about having that tall shifter like that?
The gate is super tight. It's insane how easy it is to grab a gear. ACT, lightweight flywheel.
Okay.
XZD, OEM style clutch.
What about brakes? Are we running the OEM calipers or?
So up front, I have a Willwood 4-piston.
Okay,
with
gotcha.
their track compound, I believe a BP20, as well as their slotted rotors. And then in the rear, stock caliper with some Hawk GP pads in them.
What do you think this weighs roughly? Have you ever had it on the scales?
I haven't, but I'm gonna guess maybe 24, even with all the added big wheels and aero and fun stuff. We got some Gen V ITVs with 120mm trumpets on them. Screen filters behind the runners. As far as injectors and internals, I have some Bosch injectors, pretty run-of-the-mill. On the inside, I have some cat cams, 270 duration, 9.5 lift with some drop-in springs.
So what all does that translate for people like me? What all does it translate to horsepower-wise?
I was going for a little more torque, so
okay.
It should be a little more pushy, around 4,000 RPM and up, and it loves to rev.
Okay. What do you think it's making roughly as far as power goes?
I am gonna hope 150 wheel.
Okay, so it's actually, I mean, that's healthy for these.
It's
that's
really,
a solid number
it's not too shabby for this car.
And I'm sure the intake noise is pretty crazy.
Absolutely insane.
But there's a fitment problem before Coby can even get on track.
Oh God. Lord Terry, holy mackerel. Woo! I need to lose weight.
Oh yeah, the seat's tight, eh?
Yeah, my back's too big. Oh dude, I need to stop working out. Or you're gonna have to find a new driver.
Boo-hoo, Coby's too jacked. He makes it work and heads out on track with the little Miata.
So what I like to do here, when I'm in a new car, I like to just kind of feel the car out a little bit, kind of see where the limit of it is, etc. Gives me a good indication of what the lap is going to be like. My left arm is going to get sore by the end of this session, I can tell you that much. Yeah, this car is going to be pretty flat everywhere, I'm assuming, just with the aero and everything else. It's like even the spec Miatas without aero are usually pretty flat. Like, I don't even know that I'll be braking for 10 by the end of this session, to be honest, which is a weird feeling. If you know VIR, most cars need to brake for 10, but not this one. Overall, car feels really good. It's like almost too planted. Just gotta make sure I see everybody coming. It's a very, very fast run group. Overall, I mean, the car feels crazy stable. And it's kind of amazing how late I'm going to be able to brake and do things in this car. And you just kind of got to, like, get the car in and down to power. Like, that's what's funny about this. You don't want to overslow it. And it's going to be so easy to overslow this car. Like, they're very light brake. Most cars, it's a heavy brake, and then you just throw it in. Like, I overslowed that already. So this car is going to be a decent learning curve for sure. But it'll almost match the K truck for most full-time power on track, I'm guessing. Let's see here, we're doing about 90 into the uphill S's. So this will be completely flat up the hill. And it should just be like a breathe for 10. Yeah, I mean, even there, I didn't need to brake, I broke. So let's try, we'll see the next lap, what we can do coming up here.
But the next laps have some obstacles of their own.
Corvette through. Whoa, 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 whoa. That could have been bad. Never had that happen before. He must have missed his brake zone.
If that was a first for Coby, he won't have to wait as long for the second time.
Let this Porsche through. He completely missed his apex and went off the track. That's what not to do, guys. That's the second car in this session that's missed their brake point completely trying to overtake, which is not good. Go. Very, very light on the brake. Back to full power already. I'm only braking there just to get the nose down so I get that front end grip. And then you just go right through. This is all flat as well. Wide open, wide open. The car's a lot of fun. It teaches you to just roll speed. Again, I think I know every Miata owner doesn't want to hear this. You could add a little bit of power and it would be just that much more fun. I just think it has so much downforce that it is almost too much for what it is, which is a good problem to have. Lift, turn in, flat. There we go. And again, back to full power. There we go, the red Porsche's back behind us. Hopefully they hit their brake marks this time. Go, chuck the car in. A little bit of push there, but overall good. Down the hill we go. Light brake, chuck it in. Overall, this car's a lot of fun to drive. Perfect for someone learning. It's a great little package he's got going on here. I love the shifter. Feels really good, easy to get shifts right. Awesome. Overall, great car. Makes a ton of downforce for what it is. Add a little bit of power, a little bit more, and it'd be good. Because I think on the AIM, we saw like 110-ish top speed. There might be like another mile per hour in it, but that's about it. And we have this like weird crosswind right now. And so a lot of people don't realize, like, especially here in a car like this, you'll actually get pulled or like pushed back against. Yeah. And so when you have lower power, you'll like crest the hill and the car just stalls.
Coby's asking for more horsepower, so it's time for him to experience a BMW.
So it's a 95 E36 M3 S50 car, standard 5-speed, pretty bare bones. OMP driver, Sparco passenger.
Okay.
Got NASCAR bars as far as the roll cage, only on the driver's side. So it's a CAE chassis mounted shifter, very notchy. A lot of people think it's a sequential as soon as they walk up to it, but
yeah,
just a regular H pattern CAE shifter, chassis mounted.
Awesome. I would say that's probably the most E46, E36 shifter I've seen. Because if you come to any track day and you look inside a BMW, odds are you're probably going to see that shifter in it.
These are stop techs.
Okay.
I'm not sure the actual diameter of the rotors, but they bite. It's a fabulous kit that they make for this car. I know a lot of these cars have this setup on it.
Looks like Falcon tires. Which tires are these?
Falcon RT660 pluses.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, you and the Miata will be on basically the same tire. So that'll be a great comparison there. And then what kind of aero do we have going on here? It looks like it's just your standard splitter and wing.
Standard splitter. I'm not sure where the splitter came from. I do know that that's an older Beamer World wing.
Okay.
They're both very old. They're pretty dated, but they do the job.
No, I would say, but they look, I mean, that's a pretty decent sized wing too, so.
Yeah, and it helps. You feel it in the corners. You really do. Braking zones.
I bet. That's awesome, man. Let's see what's under the hood of this bad boy.
Sure.
So tell me about it. Does this have anything done to it, or is it just a stock S50?
It's got a mild cam and a tune. I know it's relatively stock as far as, you know, the engine's not been really cracked into.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy valve-wise. MCS, external reservoir coilovers.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about those. I saw the reservoirs. Are these two-ways?
I believe so,
Okay,
yes.
and you're running them front and rear?
Yes.
And how much power did you say this should be making roughly?
Roughly 280, I've been
Okay.
told, on a really good day, cold temperature, but
So regardless, much healthier than the standard OE S50.
very, very lively, yeah.
Okay.
There's a problem though. After his initial shakedown session, Nick lets Coby know the clutch on the M3 might be slipping.
I'm excited to see how this thing feels. Definitely gonna make a good bit more power, so it'll be different to drive. The Miata makes a lot of downforce with less power. This has less downforce with more power, so it should be fun. So the clutch on this is releasing a little high, so it'll take some getting used to. But other than that, he said car feels good, so I'm excited to take it out, take it for a spin.
But immediately, Coby confirms Nick's suspicions.
Well, the clutch is slipping pretty good. I may just take it in for him. I don't want to mess with the
And then, things get worse.
Good bit of tire lock up there. The clutch is slipping a good bit.
I know.
Yeah. I just didn't want to, like, if you ease it into gear,
Yeah.
it'll allow you to do it, but like 4th and 5th is the worst point.
What is exactly?
Yeah, and I don't want to just keep wearing it out.
What
And
is
then, I don't know if you've ever had the ABS light come on.
Yeah.
But it I locked it up pretty good into Oak Tree.
I
and
noticed-
rolled out of it, but yeah, it's like the ABS is in and out.
Okay. I'm gonna take it up to Quantum and see what they can say.
Okay, yeah, I would.
Does it feel like it could be fluid, or could it be clutch, or what are you thinking?
The pedal feels like a fluid issue.
Right.
And maybe that's all tied together, I don't know. Because it only wants to slip in 4th and 5th.
With our European car temporarily out of commission, and the Corvette we'd intended to film today broken from the get-go, we have to pivot to find a replacement.
He only made it through about half a session with our other E36, so I found another E36. And my friend Reed here is nice enough to allow me to do some laps in this. And we're gonna tell you a little bit about it because it's not identical, but really, really close to the other car. So if we can do some laps in the other E36, it'll be really fun to compare them both.
It's an E36 M3 in 1998.
Okay.
Originally, I bought it as a HPDE track car, not a full race car from one of my buddies.
Yeah.
We decided as a team that I'm on to win some racing to turn it into a full track car. So we've been racing in a few different series, mostly in the Southeast, and it's a lot of fun to drive for sure. Wing and a homemade plywood splitter.
Okay, awesome.
So it has a full cage in there. Other than that, just some toggle switches for basic things. The wiring harness went over pretty much deep-pinned all the stuff we didn't need on there.
Yeah.
I think that took out like 35, 40 pounds right there, so that was helpful.
What do you think it is weight-wise?
It was around 2650.
So it's light.
Yeah, and I think that was with about 3/4 a tank of gas.
What kind of lap times have you seen here?
Yeah,
What do you
so lap
expect?
times, and these are all going to be on street tires. We
Yep.
run RT615s on it typically. I think the fastest lap time it's done here is around a 2:10, 2:11.
Okay.
With me driving it, I'm a little slower than that personally, so maybe 2:13 or so. Two-way remotes.
Okay, awesome.
So those are really nice.
Yeah,
Car
the other
actually-
E36 is on that as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, really
Yeah,
interesting
so y'all
to see how
are
that
almost
compares.
twins.
Yeah.
And you said it's making roughly what you had to guess in power?
Probably 240. I think that's what they claimed from the factory as stock, and it has 200,000 on it and a little bit of, a cheap filter and stuff on it.
This motor, literally, other than some top end work, has 200,000 miles on it.
Correct.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, don't jinx it too much.
I'm
but-
not.
He was.
All right, so we're in this E36 now. This is the car that's used to go endurance racing. Makes a little bit less horsepower than Nick's, but has a lot more miles on it as far as track miles go. So it's very, very, very sorted. Wow, the power difference going from the Miata to this is nuts. You wouldn't think 250 wheel would feel like this, but it does. Car feels very balanced. very neutral. I would expect a car like this to be set up to be more pushy, which means the car will have understeer. And the reason why that is because he has so many people coming in and out of the car, racing with him, and needs to be safe. The car that has oversteer is faster, but obviously much harder to drive. The apex a little bit there. We'll make it work. Car feels really good. It definitely oversteers a little bit in the low speed, but everything else feels really nice. Get the car turned in. Great exit. Good. Car feels really good. Definitely a little pushy, but I saw that the tires were pretty warm, so I'm assuming the front tires just kind of had enough. But overall, the car feels awesome. It's a lot of fun to drive. Man, what a fun car. Really fun car. The fronts are definitely begging, but it feels really good.
The tires have 10 or 12 hours on them.
Oh my gosh.
They're just end of the year last year. It's like, let me run them down to the cords. Anything you'd change in the setup?
Not really. I mean, I feel like new tires, it would feel mint. Yeah, like I wouldn't. Okay. Especially with what you're doing and like having different people in the car. You can't have something that's super oversteery and super tail happy because a lot of guys don't like that.
Right.
By now, Nick has gotten his M3 fixed. New battery and a clutch bleed. Let's see if it works better.
I just want to make sure I'm not destroying anything. So what, are you okay with me?
Coby Shield has full permission to break my car.
The clutch definitely feels much, much better. So I'm hoping all it needed was a bleed. Oh yeah, car feels really good. Here we go, following Reed through. Traffic is so bad. And everybody wants to drag race you like this. Like, they give you the point by and then just floor it. There's nothing you can do about it. Here we go. Car feels amazing. We can go much later there. Way too early. There we go. Car feels amazing now. Clutch is holding up. Everything's doing what it should. There we go. Great oak tree. That's about as late as you can go there. This car feels really good. There's some minor tweaks I'd make to the suspension as far as rebound goes. But other than that, and I'll tell him that, other than that, the car feels pretty much well sorted. So I can feel going into 4 that it's just like, it's not really there. It's just like we have so much compression and rebound in that it's just causing it to hold. Whereas like, I think if we took some rebound out, it would let the front end drop quicker. Brakes were finally comforting. Like it took, I'll be honest, it took me like 3 laps to finally embrace them because I was so nervous that we'd have the ABS issue again. But clutch, everything held, it was fine.
Cool. Clutch feels fun, like not slipping as much anymore?
It wasn't slipping at all.
Really?
All right, well, here I am for my contractually mandated appearance in a Gears and Gasoline video. Coby, you have been a busy boy today. What did you learn today in your escapades with all these cars?
It brought me back to my roots, and I absolutely love slamming gears. And I am blessed to be able to drive some stuff that I drive, but newer stuff is just not as fun.
Yeah.
We survived some clutch issues.
Yeah.
We survived a battery issue.
Yep.
And we got to compare 2 E36s and see how close they really were. And it's funny because setup-wise, they're almost identical.
Yeah.
It just basically tires, and then he has a bigger brake kit on this car.
Yeah.
And the motor makes a little bit more power, but when you look at data, like they're really close.
Yeah.
And it comes down to tire.
I think looking at the mile per hour, this car, even though it on paper has more power, only pulled like 2 mile per hour higher top speed than this car. It was 135 versus 133.
Yeah.
And then speaking of mile per hour, we've got
we have our old trusty
the
Steve
top
back
speed
here.
king. Yeah.
We topped out in a gnarly 109 miles an hour down the back straightaway. This car is over arrowed essentially, and we even ended up taking. He has a second element on his wing. We actually took that off to see if we gained more mile an hour. But I think because the car is so low power, we got a nasty headwind down the back straightaway by the late afternoon, and the mile per hour didn't change. And I think we actually lost a touch by the mid afternoon because the wind was so bad. So yes, there is a point to where you can have too much downforce. It just kills it at a track like this. Here, you're just living on the back straightaway forever. Like a spec Miata may actually pull more mile per hour than that car just because it's just a bone stock body.
So let's talk about times.
Yeah.
So what did we run in the low Miata? Because I don't think it's going to be a secret with a 20 mile per hour top speed delta that the Miata was not the fastest car of the 3.
Yeah, so the old Miata ran a 224, and I thought it might have more in it, but we went back out later without the second element, and I did not go any faster. And then the E36s, this was like a high 210. This was a low 207. Optimal on this was 209s. Optimal on this was 206s. And that just means I was on my fastest lap and I couldn't complete it. But I did enough laps so we could see where the relatives were. So with that being said though, the tires on this, as we all know, are completely shot. There's literally chunks missing in the tire, and Reed said, screw it, that's normal, send it, because he's an endurance guy. These had 12 to 13 hours on them. These were brand new.
Yeah.
So there's a couple seconds probably there alone. These are really within a second of each other probably, and this makes it a little bit more power.
Yeah, and it kind of like scales, like cost-wise, because for how much money the Miata has, I would say these E36s both have a lot more money in them.
100%, because you're talking full cages in these cars, full two-way MCSs, et cetera, and it gets pretty gnarly. Whereas like the most money spent in that is pretty much aero. And like the throttle bodies and stuff, you don't have to do.
Unfortunately, something did happen with this E36 after, in a later session, not while Coby was driving, but it does seem, I had to push it over here to film this, let's just say that.
This motor, literally, other than some top end work, has 200,000 miles on it.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah, don't jinx it too much.
I'm not. We may have jinxed it. The fact that it made 200,000 miles is nuts. And the fact that we joked about it about 2 hours ago and it is now, not driving.
Knocking, yeah.
That to show you can take an E36 and most likely get 200,000 miles out of it and drive the piss out of it and have the time of your life until it goes.
Really quickly, I just want to say a big thank you to Tidewater Sports Car Club for facilitating us filming this. They have basically just allowed Coby to run in whatever run group he wants, which is amazing for our filming. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you to the owners of these cars. They were all incredible. And we just hope you guys love this series and continue to support it and allow it to grow, because this is what I absolutely love doing, and I know Ben does too. So thank you everybody for watching.
Buy yourself a track rat.